Welcome back to the Agile Coaching Foundations program, and we are discussing about the 7 stances of an Agile coach at an enterprise level. So, in the first video, that we talked about all the 7 stances, what they are, and we also discussed a bit deeper on coaching, mentoring, and facilitation. In this video, we will be starting off with the next 4 stances. The first one we will look at is consulting. Now, what is consulting? Consulting is about providing recommendation, providing advice, or providing solutions to the problems that organizations or teams that are engaging you for consultation. And it's about adding value from our experience and expertise in that particular domain so that you are able to help the people or the organization or the teams that are giving you that consulting opportunity to accomplish the outcomes that they are looking for, right? And one of the major important things to keep in mind when you are consulting for somebody, you have your skin in the game, which means that you are accountable to produce the results that you have promised as part of that consulting opportunity that or consulting proposal that you have provided. So, and for a consultant to be successful, again, it's not about going with an idealistic mindset or an idealistic solution. Every organization would have their own constraints to operate with, their own boundaries that they want to operate within. So, how, as a consultant, you understand and adapt to the client environment and their constraints and help them to achieve the outcomes while operating within those constraints. Somebody may have a financial constraint, somebody may have a regulatory constraint, somebody may have a cultural constraint, right? There could be many types of constraints an organization or a team is operating with. Then how do you understand that and then have that temperament, have that right kind of presence to be able to visualize those and then provide your advice or consulting for that particular requirement or the problem statement that they are looking to address, right? So as a consultant, you should have the expertise in that domain where you are providing consulting for, and you should have the ability to figure out what are the constraints the organization is operating in or the people are operating with, and how you can provide a recommendation which can be executed, which can be implemented within those boundaries that they are looking for, right? So that is very much a paramount for being a good consultant, correct? And you have the ownership, remember that. Next up is the training, right? You have lot of areas where you would train people on when you are an enterprise agile coach, because you are introducing new ways of working, new ways of leading, and new ways of delivering as well, right? Because when you are trying to build agility at an enterprise level, you are trying to introduce self-servicing platforms like an AWS or an Azure or any other cloud-based environments. You are also talking about continuous integration, continuous deployment, and that means you have not just the practices that you are talking about or not just the competencies and skills. You also have tools, you have techniques that you need to teach for people to understand and embrace and integrate into their daily life at work, correct? So from that point of view, you need, as a trainer, to be focused on helping different sets of people in the organization based on where you are operating. If you are operating in a team, you would be training them on frameworks like Scrum or Kanban or XP or even Safe or DAD or less, Scrum of Scrums. So any number of frameworks that are available in the market which they are likely to use, you would be training them on those, correct? And then at a leadership level, you will be training them on, let's say, acquisition of new leadership development skills, right? Yeah, leadership showcasing skills, even understanding and getting trained about what leadership agility is, how they can be agile leaders. And another element is one of the new roles that we are advocating, or new skill sets that we are advocating in an agile organization for senior leaders and executives is being a coach, how you can exhibit coaching style of leadership, because the organizations are now having 3 to 4 generations of people, and we have the Gen Ys, Gen Zs, the millennials, who are kind of coming up with their own entrepreneurship mindsets. They are, they have a different way of working, different way of approaching situations. So, and also coupled with that is the technology disruption, the business models, the new technical competencies that are coming up. A leader at any level or with whatever experience they have got, it's very impracticable to expect the leaders to, or even the managers to have expertise on every type of technology that they are managing, right? Because at a senior level, when you are talking about even a tribe or a business unit, you would have 10 to 20 to 30 teams based on how big the portfolios are, how big the business units are. And they may have 8 to 10 or 20 technologies, different skill sets that are being involved in delivering the outcomes that particular portfolio or a product or a business unit is responsible for. Can you expect them to be expert at everything? If not, then how do you lead those people, right? And get the best out of them, because you are hiring them for their expertise, for their competence. Then how do you give them that avenue for them to express themselves and be their best? And that comes from being a good coach, where you are helping people to showcase their best version within the organization. So all those elements are involved. So you have to train the leaders on these things. So as a trainer, you need to develop the ability to provide experiential learning. You need to use techniques like training from back of the room. And there are many other experiential learning techniques, and we talk about all of them in our other deeper programs, whether it is ICP, ACC from IC Agile, or Expert Agile Coach program, or Agile Coaching Expert program from IC Agile itself. There are a number of avenues for us to look at, but you need to understand that it's not about going and delivering a particular PowerPoint or a kind of content. Yes, you control the learning process as a trainer. You understand the content, what needs to be delivered for fulfilling or for helping people build that knowledge and build those skill sets. But it's about the how are you doing it, and are you creating a experience for them to take back rather than just the knowledge. That is something which is important. And for that to happen, right, how can you be a good facilitator? It comes very handy here as well, the facilitation skill. Because when you are talking about any of these topics, each one would have their own views. Talk about agile, right? What is agile? If you have 20 people in the room, they would have 20 different definitions. Talk about DevOps. If you Google today, you may find 50 to 60 definitions of what DevOps is. When you are in a training session, how do you make sure that for that particular duration, and then on, how are you converging those views, how are you integrating those diverse views, so that there is a shared understanding which you can build your whole training program on and deliver that. So that is very important. So facilitation skills also play a great role in being a good trainer, and even coaching skills as well, because when you are a trainer, you should be more thinking about challenging the people's conviction when they present certain views constructively. And that comes from coaching competency, where you can ask powerful questions back than trying to tell them what is wrong. How can you help them build that awareness, build that consciousness themselves? That is something which comes from being a good coach as well. And you can use these competencies into your training area as well. Okay, so that is about being a trainer. And then moving on to the next one, being a great change management or being a change agent, right? And we talked about transformation itself is a big change. Whether it is at an organization level or a team level or a business unit level, we are talking about this as a big program to be executed. So do you have good understanding of being a change agent? Do you understand how to use change management frameworks at an enterprise level, or whatever level you are operating? Are you able to formulate transformation strategies? Are you able to build transformation frameworks that are required for an enterprise to get transformed successfully? Are you able to build the right kind of planning that is required, or approach that is required for a certain organization? Are we going to do bottom up or top down? Are we going to look at doing a pilot followed by big band? Are we going to look at pilot followed by phase wise approach? How is that? And how are you going to prioritize which ones to go when, right? How is your roadmap going to look like? All those skills come from being good at managing the change and implementing the change. So, strategizing the change, implementing the change, and managing the change. And those are the skills required for you to be a good change agent. And that is also one of the requirements at an enterprise level or even at various levels that you operate. And being a good change agent is all about understanding the various dynamics within the organization, understanding the power centers, where is the influence, and how you can manage those people in those areas of influences to make that change faster, make that impact bigger. It's about understanding those dynamics, the complexity of the organization, where does the power centers lie, how to make use of those understandings that we develop and make the change happen for the organization. That is about being a great change agent. Now, the last but not the least, being a good leader. We are talking about, and we talked enough about how leadership is crucial, right? And whenever you go to any conference, any webinar or a meetup or even a routine discussion, one of the questions we always get is challenge with the leaders. But what is your style of leadership? How agile are you as a leader when you are leading that transformation for an enterprise? Are you showcasing or exhibiting that agility you are asking the leaders to develop? Are you role modeling those behaviors, right? Are you role modeling those habits that you are really wanting them to showcase? Are you delegating authority? Are you building the leaders within your team of coaches or change agents? How much of an empowerment they have, right? Are you building their coaching competencies? Are you giving them the right avenues to express themselves and present themselves? All these elements are required. So, what is your level of leadership agility? Because at an enterprise level or even at a business unit level, you are leading certain coaches and change agents, right? Even at a team level, you are kind of showcasing that leadership. Informal leadership is what we talk about. How are you coming across to the team from a leadership perspective? All those are very, very important. So leadership is another stance which you have to build. Do you have the right skills of being a leader? Are you the leader you want in the organizations to be, right? Are you the same kind of leader that you are looking at other leaders to become in an agile organization? That is a question you also need to ask yourself. So those are the 7 stances that we look for when we talk about being an enterprise agile coach, correct? And that brings us to the activity that we are looking at. How do you rate yourself? Now we talked about what kind of skill sets you need, what are, even though we didn't get deeper into each of them because each of them are great and big topics to cover. This is a foundations course just to give you that flavor of what enterprise agile coaching is all about, correct? So understanding that you have built so far on these stances, if you have to rate yourself on whatever scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 10, good, bad, whatever you want to use as your scale, how do you rate yourself on these stances? And most importantly, and we are talking about providing an experience and reflections, right? What is the evidence that tells you you are at that level? If I am saying I am on leadership, I am at level 8, for example, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, what makes me say that I am at 8? What are the indicators that are telling me that this is my level 8? Only then you can think about, okay, if I have to get to 10, how would 10 look like? Or if I am at 5, why did I think I am at 5? And if I have to move to 7, what would 7 look like, right? That is something important. So what is the evidence which can validate your assessment of whatever you have identified for yourself or whatever you have rated for yourself? That is the activity for you to take up in this particular session. And please upload your reflections on the assignment tab in your learning portal. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop us a note as usual, right? And we will try and see if we can provide answers for you. So that is it for this particular video. And in the next session, we will be talking about professional coaching and the significance of professional coaching. What benefits does it provide? That would be our next session and next video. I hope you are enjoying these discussions and the reflections that you are undertaking, and we look forward to seeing you back in the next video. Thanks for joining and happy learnings.